Hey Dad,
Let's go.
put the Candy Crush away, and welcome everybody to episode 2 of Toy Ferrari, where Dad, we are going to be discussing another one of your models. So without further ado, please can you see which model we have
What have
today?
you chosen?
So here.
Okay. Oh. Okay, well.
What do we have over here?
You've chosen a Ferrari 550 Maranello.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was interesting about this particular car was that Ferrari, up until the 550 Maranello, the V12 offering was in the form of a mid-engine car. It was the last of the Testarossa series, and they went back to put in the horse before the cart, in that they went back to a front-engine V12. And
So is this a good Ferrari?
this is a Grand Tourer. It's a very good Ferrari. It's a beautiful car.
Is it collectible though?
Well, they made lots of them, so I suppose all Ferraris are collectible to a point, but they're not an iconic car collector's dream, as it were. But the 550 Maranello, a very, very nice car, fetching reasonable prices on auctions these days. Look particularly good in a blue colour. It wore blue rather better than red, I think, but that's very subjective.
And did you ever drive one of these?
No, I've never driven one of these.
Never driven one.
I've had a look at one, and I had a look at a successor, which was the 575, which looked very, very, very similar. But what was interesting was there was a company in the UK called ProDrive, a racing team. And ProDrive got their hands on this big GT Tourer, and they went motor racing, and that's what you've got here is one of the racing cars, the 550 Maranello racing cars. ProDrive weren't the only guys to do it, but I think they started it and they did most of the development on it with the blessing of Ferrari. And I think Ferrari's Michelotti section helped in the development of this racing car. And they raced these cars very successfully. So here's a lovely little model of one of these.
So did it ever win Le Mans?
No, these Ferrari. This was more the race car series was a dedicated GT series that was running at the time, and this was a car that just slotted into that GT series very well.
So who were they like racing against? Like?
So there were things like Celine's, which was quite an interesting car that they raced against, and then of course the normal opposition in the form of the Porsche GT cars, Aston Martins, and other serious Grand Tourers of the day.
So what year were the 550s made in?
550s came just after Testarossa, which Michael, I think, I actually don't know, but if I'd hazard a guess, it was like late 80s, very early 90s.
Oh, as old as that?
Yeah.
It's got quite a modern design for, I would have said like late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit earlier than that.
Okay. And so, any like big famous stories around these cars?
No, not really. I mean, There are lots of stories around cars and various teams and what they did and that, but none that go into kind of Ferrari folklore.
And any weird quirks about these cars?
I think the design and the concept of going back to a front-engined Grand Tourer proved to be an outstanding success from Ferrari's perspective. Mm-hmm. So much so that if you look at the car that succeeded this, the 575, it almost looks identical. So and the V12 engines, front engine V12s, continued after this in the form of things like the 599 and going forward on that. It proved to be a successful package, as I say. Ferrari considered worthwhile in continuing with this philosophy.
Okay. And then before we end off, any final interesting facts or things that people should know about the 550 Maranello?
Just from what I've seen, a 550 Maranello with a manual gearbox is probably more desirable today than its successor, the 575, that came afterwards. So from that point of view, the cars have aged very, very well, and they really are very nice motor cars.
Okay, perfect. Anyway, thanks so much, Dad.
Okay.
And then, tell everyone to click the subscribe button.
Yeah, okay. Everyone click the subscribe button, wherever that is.
And the like button.
And the like button. And ring the bell.
And the bell. There's
There's
all those things.
Push the horn.
Awesome.
Rev the accelerator.
Cool. Thanks, Dad.
Okay.
Cheers, everyone.
Okay, ciao.